Welcome to this week's episode of the Jeff
And the Bonch.
Show. I'm Jeff.
And I'm the Bonch.
And it's time for our show.
You should know that by now, viewer.
Alright, let's get down to it. What time is it?
It's time for Hot Topics.
These topics are hot. Oh yeah. I did that really good this time.
Yeah. That's your best so far.
Yeah.
Like how your hair's all like gelled and slicked back today.
It's not jealous because I washed it and then I just sort of brushed it back.
You're not on ESPN, you know that, right?
I am on ESPN.
He thinks he's on ESPN.
Alright, let's get down to it. Our first topic. Most disappointing.
The most disappointing player of this NFL season through 5 weeks.
Who is the most disappointing player?
I know who you think I'm going to say.
I think you're going to say Chris Johnson.
That's who you think I'm going to say.
Who are you going to say?
No. I am not saying Chris Johnson because it's not a disappointment to me when you sucked last year, you suck again this year. Yeah. I don't find it disappointing. I had Chris Johnson on my fantasy team last year. I'm not surprised by the fact that he sucks again.
Yep.
You know, just repeating last year's terribleness. So, my pick is Cam Newton.
Cam Newton, that's a
Cam
good pick.
Newton, who, after, coming out gangbusters last year, 2 400-yard passing performances, after he was basically criticized as he's going to be a bust, and, proves everybody wrong last year. 14 rushing touchdowns. Oh, my, what a great pick. This year, mediocre at best, and I think that's being generous.
That's being generous.
I mean, it looks like he's pressing to me. He's been immature. He's been, moping on the sidelines. He throws interceptions, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the league caught up to the whole college type of offense that the Panthers are running.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed he's forcing the ball to Steve Smith, because I watched a little bit of the Panthers game last week. And I noticed that there's receivers open underneath, and he's still forcing the ball to Steve Smith, which, the progression of year 2 has not been there, at least so far.
I'm going to argue a more disappointing player this year.
Really?
Aaron Rodgers. Okay,
I don't know if that's fair.
Hear me out. I think it's
Okay,
fair.
I'm listening.
7th best QB rating in the NFL.
Okay, what's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that is this is a guy who last year was so accurate and precise. He had like a 120 something.
Okay, but you act like 7th is terrible.
7th's pretty bad.
It's not pretty bad among 32. 7th isn't bad.
He has fewer passing yards.
Forget QB. QB rating's overrated.
Okay, so passing yards. He has fewer passing yards than Michael Vick and Andy Dalton. That's pretty bad. Aaron Rodgers, 1 pass play of over 40 yards. That's
a problem. Well, that's Greg Jennings being out is a big part of that.
That's bad. Last year he had like 13 or something.
But you know what? To have a 40-yard pass play, you have to have enough time to throw the ball down the field, which he doesn't with a bad offensive line.
If you're a great quarterback, you should be able to compensate at least somewhat.
It's not an excuse. Aaron Rodgers, yes. Aaron Rodgers even said, has said, I need to play better.
He
knows that.
Play better.
He's throwing more interceptions. I think he had 6 interceptions last year. He has 4 already this year.
When I go for disappointing, though, Aaron Rodgers is someone who was the MVP last year. The MVP.
The Packers on a whole have been disappointing.
As a whole, and he's one of the driving factors.
Yeah, but I don't say Aaron Rodgers would be the sole reason the Packers are 2-3 right now.
He's not the sole reason, but he was MVP last year. He's the most disappointing player. It's time for Contender or Pretender.
Yeah. I didn't have a prepared statement because this is a new segment.
It's not even a segment. It's a topic on your Hot Topics.
Basically.
Okay, so do you want to give our first? We got 3 teams.
We got 3 teams that I'm saying you probably wouldn't consider to have the record they do right now.
Surprise.
Surprise teams. And we're basically going to say through 5 weeks, are we believers or do you just, waiting for?
All right, now I had a question with this. When we say contender or pretender, are we saying like they're going to win a lot of games?
I'm going to say playoff contender.
Playoff contender?
Yes.
So they have a chance for the playoffs?
Yes, you consider them at least a borderline playoff team or better. The Cardinals. 4-1.
Pretender.
I had to think about this.
Pretender.
I mean, 4-1 is 4-1. They beat a good team on the Patriots on the road. But they shouldn't have won that game.
And
they probably shouldn't have won the Seahawks game.
All right. I think the Cardinals are a big-time pretender. They're about to be exposed, too.
I think they were exposed, actually, on
by the
Thursday.
Rams. You think that was it?
Their offensive line is god-awful.
Their offense stinks.
They have no running game.
Their offense stinks.
Their offense is one man, and number 11, number 1 in our hearts, at least my heart.
Your heart.
Yes.
Their offense stunk before.
Yeah.
Now it's going to stink even more.
When you don't believe in the quarterback, you don't have a running game, and you have one receiver. I mean, Andre Roberts isn't bad. There's other weapons there. But basically,
their offense stinks.
No offensive line.
Their offense stinks.
It's a defense team. They can win games 16-13, those type of scores.
After Buffalo this week.
Yeah, which I think they're going to win.
At Minnesota, 49ers, at Green Bay, at Atlanta.
Uh-oh.
Pretender.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. I'm definitely saying pretender
That's
now.
tough.
Mm.
They could lose all 4 of these
Honeymoon's
games.
over.
Vikings.
I will take this one.
Go ahead, Vikings.
Because I am 100% on the Vikings bandwagon.
Are you
I
really?
love this team.
Wow,
I really
you
do.
Tell me
Adrian
more.
Peterson looks healthy to me. Looks
Yeah.
pretty good. Percy Harvin is having a career season. He is unbelievable. Explosive. You know, kind of guy that can score
Until he
one
gets
play.
a migraine and misses 3 games.
Look, he's healthy for now. Okay? The defense, I think, is underrated. Very underrated. They're top 10 in the league, points per game, yards allowed. They got a premier pass rusher in Jared Allen. I like Chad Greenway. It's kind of a no-name defense on the whole part, but, you know, they make stops. And Christian Ponder is a pretty good quarterback from what I've seen. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. I think his first 2 interceptions of the season were this past week. Right now, they're the best team in the NFC North. Right now, today.
I don't think that's true at all. And see, I wrote down here's what I wrote down. I wrote down Pretender, pretty good run defense, AP.
Very good run defense.
AP. Ponder is decent, but overall just okay. But then I looked at the schedule. And
Yep.
The schedule.
I was about to get to that, but I was
and
waiting for you to bring it up.
That's when I thought, okay, so is it a contender? Because I think they have a good chance to make the playoffs.
I see 10 wins.
So then that's a contender.
Yeah.
After their bye week, but that's not until like week 11. Then
Yeah.
they have it. Then it gets tough.
They haven't played
But
the Packers or Bears yet.
they
That's what
could-
it's going to need. You're going to need to do something.
Yeah, they could rack up a ton of wins though
Yeah.
before the bye.
You could be looking at like 7-3, 8-2.
It
Not
could
even kidding.
Yeah,
St. Louis Rams.
pretender.
Absolutely. I think we're in agreement on this one.
Give me a break.
I think the only reason that this is even on this list is because they're not going to go 2-14 for a change.
Yeah, they beat the Cardinals, who we also say are a pretender.
Mhm.
So that's not very
The
impressive.
Rams have been so bad the last 5-6 years that, you know,
Yeah.
anytime they were even a game over 500, it's like, oh, look at the Rams. They're not terrible
They're
this year.
3-2 for the first
I think
time
they're heading in the
ever.
right direction. So in that sense, Jeff Fisher's got them on the right track. Are they even close to a contending team? No.
Yeah, I wrote this down too because they're going to lose their next 5 games.
Really?
Well, I think they will. They play at Miami,
Loss.
Green Bay,
Loss.
New England,
Huge loss.
and they have their bye, so that's nice.
Oh.
At San Francisco,
Oh no.
and the Jets.
Mm,
So that's
they
questionable.
can win that Jets game. Not a terrible team anymore, but still not a good team.
No, below average.
Yeah.
Pretender. That's what it-
Pretender.
So are we both going pretender, contender, pretender?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, but I think you're more enthused about the Vikings than I am. In
Yeah,
general.
I'm definitely more pro Vikings than most people.
You're
I'll admit
you're
that.
thinking wild card for sure.
Yes, they're
And I'm
making the playoffs.
thinking
I'll say it right now. I
playoffs
think the
question
Vikings make the
mark.
playoffs in Week 5. I'm having them as a wild card team. Where are they? Playoff team, right there.
Yeah,
You heard it here first.
yeah, you're holding that up, huh?
That's right. Playoff team.
Here,
Playoff
put
team.
Put that back.
It's time for Fantasy Focus.
Let's make sure your vision's 2020. Time to start with, should I start him?
Yep.
Do you want to ask me one first? You know the
Yeah.
drill, everybody.
Yeah, everyone knows the deal.
You know
I'm
the
going to go
deal,
with,
you know.
to start, let's go to Doug Martin.
I actually thought about having him.
You know, I think was a highly regarded fantasy player coming out as a rookie. You know, he's coming off a bye week. He's been, you know, mediocre at best, like a little over 3 yards a carry.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you saw Garrett Bounce getting goal line carries.
I hate when that happens.
That's the worst.
For fantasy purposes,
Yes.
I'm not starting him.
I
3.5.
I have a 4.
3.5.
Like, you know, I think anyone that was expecting big things from Doug Martin this year is going to be disappointed.
Willis McGahee at San Diego.
Okay.
Willis McGahee,
Now,
who
here's-
single-handedly... not
here's the
single-handedly, Willis McGahee.
Willis McGahee overall has had a good season, but he had 2 huge flubs in that Patriots game.
Yep.
So the question is he going to start losing carries to Ronnie Hillman, who's not a bad little rookie behind him?
That's why I wrote Willis McGahee as the potential. I give him a 5.
I would say a 6. I've
You
seen
still
it.
going 6?
Willis has looked good when he hangs on to the football. Okay. How about Andrew Luck?
Against the Jets.
Against the Jets. You know, has looked pretty good. Not great, but he's got this little fourth quarter mojo going on. He's been thrown over 300 yards. He loves Reggie Wayne.
It's weird. If I have Andrew Luck, who else do I have?
He's probably your backup, but let's say, you know, you got who's on bye this week.
Blaine Gabbert.
Okay.
That's
All
like
right.
a
What
Blaine
what
Gabbert.
fantasy quarterbacks are on bye this week? I'm trying to think. Cam Newton.
Drew Brees.
The Panthers run by.
Drew Brees.
Okay, so you have Drew Brees or Cam Newton, who you took high.
you're gonna start
It's
Andrew
very
Luck.
possible you have Andrew Luck as your backup. My question is, what do you expect from him?
5.
I'm giving him a 7.
7. Wow.
He's looked good over the last few weeks.
I don't know. The Jets.
The Jets held the Texans' defense.
They have
the Texans' offense pretty good.
What it is their run defense stinks.
Their run defense is bad.
Their pass defense is still pretty good.
You know, Cromartie's still there, and Reggie Wayne's really the only weapon in that offense.
Jordy Nelson.
That was my next guy.
Was he really?
Yes,
At
right
Houston.
here. Because, Jordy Nelson, top fantasy receiver. Not this year.
No.
Oh, it's the first time we've agreed on a guy.
I was actually gonna say 6.5.
I have 9. I think
Wow,
I think
9.
it's
You think
blowout
he's just
time.
due?
It's time.
You think
It's
he's due?
time. Greg Jennings is out. Jonathan Joseph got destroyed by Jeremy Curley and Clyde Gates on Monday night.
Yeah.
He did not look good at all. I
Wow,
think
9.
Jordy's going to step up.
Michael Turner versus the Raiders. Falcons. Let's break it down. Falcons home
Yes.
against a bad
Bad
run
team.
defense. Bad team that they're gonna crush.
they are.
They're gonna be ahead for a lot of that game.
Last week, Michael Turner had about 15 carries for 40 yards. And then he got a hole the size of Texas and ran through it
So
for a
what?
20-yard
Doesn't
touchdown.
matter fantasy purposes.
Because the Panthers' run defense is that
doesn't
bad.
matter.
He was there, yeah, but
Do you know what matters? Wait, here's a nice little tidbit for you. A touchdown in each of the last 4 games. That's what you want in fantasy. That's what you want.
This is
I'm
your
not saying
last
you got-
week of Michael Turner.
You're gonna say
being
that every
productive.
week. Oh, this week
No.
you're gonna give him a high grade.
I'll give him a 5 this week.
Good, 'cause
because
I'm
the
giving-
Raiders are that
I was gonna
bad.
give a 7.5.
The Raiders, yeah, because you love Michael Turner.
7.5.
Raiders are. This is the last
Raiders
week
do
you can
stink.
start Michael Turner. Yeah, the Raiders are bad.
The Raiders stink.
The Falcons probably win this game handily.
I told you, ladies and gentlemen, and now look, even he is boosting him up to a 5.
1 week.
For 1 week.
This is it.
I have Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning actually had a phenomenal fantasy game against the Pats.
Yeah,
Now, he's going to the Chargers. I think
Mhm.
the Broncos are a better team than the Chargers.
I'm not sure about that. I'm not a
You're
fan
not,
either.
you're not sure.
I think they're both above average at best. That's
I
what
don't
they
think
are.
they're a good team. I think they're a better team than the Chargers.
Yeah.
Just like I think the Patriots are a better team than the Bills.
That's not the same thing
It's
at
not
all.
the same thing at all. But Peyton Manning, after a loss like the one that he just had, he just has this tendency to go out and have a phenomenal game, and he's gonna win one. I don't know. I feel that.
Here's
coming
what the
on.
Broncos' pattern has been when they play these good teams: is they fall behind in the first half, like by 2 or 3 touchdowns,
Yeah.
and then Peyton's throwing the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And it builds the fantasy stats up. And I don't know if that's going to happen against the Chargers. I expect that to be a close game. But
I feel like he's gonna have a monster game. I just feel like Peyton. He's mad.
I don't know.
He just lost to the Pats. He's coming out there.
He's going to be good.
3 TDs.
He's been good.
3 TDs. 350 yards.
Wow, that's a
Yep.
lot. Well, I kind of cheated a little bit. I went with the tie of 2 guys, but it's the same idea. The Steelers receivers of Antonio Brown and Mike Wallace.
Against the Titans.
Thursday Night Football against I don't even know the adjective to describe the Titans' defense.
Putrid.
Putrid.
Is that good?
Yeah, let's go with putrid. I like it.
Pitiful.
Pitiful, yeah.
They're both good.
And you got 2 quality receivers. Mike Wallace kind of got,
17 yards.
Yeah.
You kind of got.
you kind of. I was trying to think of suppressed
Suppressed.
in against Philadelphia.
So you know he's mad.
And Antonio Brown always open. Seems like he gets about 8 catches every game somehow. And I just think the Steelers are gonna have a field day on Thursday Night Football.
Dude, 100 yards for both.
100 yards for
Wow.
both and a touchdown.
You
for
know,
both.
Wouldn't shock me, actually.
Yeah,
I almost
I know.
actually picked Big Ben for the fantasy stud of the
Oh,
week.
there you go. See, that's the thing.
I almost picked him
I think
to
he's
sort
gonna have a
of-
big week too. By default, obviously,
Yeah, by
both receivers
default.
are gonna have a good week. So is Big Ben. It's time for perfect picks.
Our picks are pretty good.
We still need a better slogan.
We do! Come on, get with it. It's time for perfect picks. We're gonna pick the games. That's even worse. Actually, that's worse.
If you have any ideas, let us know.
Yeah.
We're open to suggestions here.
So, game of the week, I got Packers at Texans.
That's the first one.
Sunday night football. Sunday night football. And Packers might be 2-3. I don't care. That means this is a must-win game for the Packers. Can't go 2-4.
That's right.
Bears, Vikings 4-1. I mean, can't go 2-4 if you want to make the playoffs.
I don't even have to say anything. You're saying everything I was going to say.
So that's that makes it a great game. The Packers are bringing their A game.
Mm-hmm. And
But
the Texans are great. They're 5-0.
The Texans are great, and the Texans are home.
Mm-hmm.
This has the makings for a fantastic game.
If this game isn't good, I'm going to be disappointed. This isn't like down to the wire.
If it's not good, I don't know. Then would the Texans just crush the Packers? Are they
don't know.
that good? I don't think they're that good that they can do that to Green Bay.
I think the other way around. I think the Texans 5-0, feeling a little complacent. They know the losses are going to kill them. They're coming off a Monday night, which never, it's a short rest.
See, but I almost think the fact that the Texans didn't have a great game against the Jets
They had their bad game
helps
against
them
the Jets.
because now they could say, "Oh wow, look, we made all these mistakes against the Jets. Here's what we can do better. We're playing a better team than the Packers."
Yeah, I also have the Packers winning.
Yeah.
I guess it's our upset. It's my upset special of the week.
I sort of have it as an upset special.
I mean,
have another one too.
It's 2-3 against 5-0. You got to call it an upset.
Yeah, and on the road, it's still an upset.
It's definitely an upset. I do want to mention another game, the NFC Championship rematch.
Dun, dun, dun.
Giants 49ers
in San Fran.
I don't think you even need to say anything because we know what you're going to say. You're going to say the Giants lose because whenever the Giants are in a game that's somewhat competitive, you pick them to lose.
You know what? I don't think the Giants are going to just lose.
You think they're going to get crushed?
I think they're going to get crushed.
I think you're stupid.
I think I'm right. The 49ers beat up teams. They are bullies.
They beat up the Vikings.
The Giants let the Browns be competitive for part of that game. Ahmad Bradshaw ran for 1,000,000 yards because it was the Browns. He's going to run for 0 yards against the 49ers. 49ers also have a good pass defense. Eli's been lighting it up against bad teams. So, the Giants haven't faced a team like this yet. They haven't. Combined with the fact the 49ers are home, and they want revenge. This is their big revenge game.
It is their revenge game.
This is their revenge game. This is their game to lose. If the 49ers lose, the Giants, I'll give props because they're a lot better than I thought they were. If they can beat the 49ers in San Francisco, the way the 49ers have been playing.
I don't think too much about the Browns and the Bucs games because the Giants tend to play down their competition, especially at home.
Mm-hmm.
They'll do the thing where they won't wake up till the third quarter when they're playing a bad team. But I haven't seen a lot this year from them to think this is this team I saw in the Super Bowl and the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Their pass rush has been non-existent. I don't know what happened. Tuck, Pierre-Paul, OC.
They have one or two sacks each.
They're not healthy in the secondary. They're not a very strong secondary. The run defense isn't bad, but I wouldn't call it shut down by any means. Mm-hmm. And I think Hakeem Nicks not being 100% is a huge difference in this game. If he was healthy, I very well might pick the Giants, but for once I'm going to agree with you.
35-17 49ers.
27-24.
Wow.
It'll be a close game.
I think the 49ers.
The Giants don't get blown out. They really don't.
They do on Sunday. It's time for Lock It Up.
Lock it up. I believe my Lock It Up picks are 6-0 on the season.
I believe they are. Good work.
Thank you.
Good work, fine sir.
Yeah, and how was your Packers pick last week?
I know. I'm 5-1 now, guys. I let you down.
That's why he's so bitter at Aaron Rodgers, because he lost his Lock It Up pick because of it.
So he's a big loser. Regardless, 5-1, 6-0. Collectively,
yes,
we're pretty good. I also picked. Remember, I went in at the end, and I pick the Bears to crush the Jags.
You did,
too.
but that was your kind of bonus
pick. So we'll say that was. Then I'm 3-1 last week.
All right, but
I'm allowed to do that. So I'm 6-1.
I guess.
I'm 6-1. You're 6-0.
Yeah.
So I did my bonus pick.
Fine.
So we're still pretty good at these. This week was a little tougher, actually.
It was. It was.
I had an easy time with 2 games.
So did the same thing.
And then the third game,
I think it's the same too.
The 2 games were Steelers over Titans and Falcons over Raiders.
We agree.
Those are 2 easy games.
Those are your 2 stone cold lead pipe. Lock it up in the safe box in a bank somewhere.
After that, I could see upsets. I could see a lot happening.
I could see anything else happening in these games.
I had a lot of trouble picking the next one.
So I did not have trouble because I'm riding the team that I love, the Minnesota Vikings.
Wow.
Lock it up for the second straight week.
Washington?
Against Washington with a banged up RG3. If he's even
Washington?
Playing. In Washington.
As a lock?
As a lock.
Wow.
Vikings.
I'm going Jets.
That's a bad idea.
Really? I don't think so. I had a lot of trouble with this.
I think the Jets are going to win. I would not lock up anything involving that offense right now. With the
I think the Vikings are going to win, but I'm not going to lock up anything with that offense.
They're 4-1.
So, you know what time it is, Bonch? Upset special! Bills over Cardinals.
Oh boy.
Bills over Cardinals. The Bills have looked really bad the past 2 weeks.
That's an understatement.
But the Bills have played the 49ers and the Pats.
Yes, they have.
Two top 5 arguably teams.
Okay. So what's
Buffalo.
Mm-hmm. It's not in Buffalo.
It's not in Buffalo, I know.
The Cardinals are strong at home.
CJ Spiller and Fred Jackson are good.
Yes, they are.
They're good.
Yes, they are.
The Bills' offense isn't that bad,
No, it's not terrible.
and the Cardinals' offense is awful.
I don't know, it's awful.
It's awful.
It's not good.
It's awful. Who's
not
good on the
awful.
Cardinals' offense besides Fitzy? You love Fitzy. Go ahead.
Besides Fitzy?
No one.
Nah,
No one's good.
Andre Roberts.
I think they have the 31st ranked offense in the NFL. That's awful. So I think we could have a potentially low-scoring game. I think the Bills could win this one maybe 17-14. It would not surprise me. The Bills aren't that bad. They seem so bad because they've gotten crushed the past 2 weeks, but don't forget who they've played.
Well, I know what team you like this year. You like the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think they're going to lose this week
To the
the
Lions.
Detroit Lions at home.
I don't think so. I think you're wrong.
The Eagles, once again, for the 5th straight week, looked at best. Another close game. That's where the reason I love picking Eagles as an upset. Because they play these close games every single
really
week.
do.
So every game is losable. Every game is winnable. Every game is also losable. You got the Lions coming off a bye. They're resting. They've had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. I think Calvin Johnson has a huge day. 2 touchdowns from him. Lions get a big win that they need. I think they're 1-3? The Lions?
Yeah, they're
1-3. So the Lions need this game.
Thank you for watching the Jeff
And the Bonch.
Show.
We'll be back next week.
Usual date, usual...
Same Football Nation time. Same Football Nation channel.
Goodbye, America.
Shalom. I'm not sure about that.
They're better than the Colts.
I'm not sure about that.
Well, then you're not sure about a lot of things. I'm not sure.
I'm
why
not sure. Well,
wearing
it's
that
the thing.
color jersey.
Because it's Josh Freeman and it's awesome.
I'm not sure why
Bucks throwback.
anyone who's not Josh Freeman or a family member of Josh Freeman owns a Josh Freeman jersey.
I don't care.
No.
I like Josh Freeman.